Ahead of his upcoming Snyderverse convention, Zack Snyder unveiled a new poster based on his DC movies. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share and subscribe for more. With the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League and a promising post-credits scene in Black Adam, fans have been vying for a continuation of the Snyder-envisioned DC cinematic universe. However, with the hiring of James Gunn and Peter Safran to head the new, mostly rebooted DC universe, much of that hope was shattered, despite a campaign to sell the Snyderverse to Netflix buzzing around internet circles. Even though his films seem to be over, however, Snyder is hosting a SnyderCon event on April 28th to 30th in Pasadena, California, celebrating his films and the universe before fans say goodbye for what might be ever. With SnyderCon, the aptly named convention regarding Zack Snyder's DCU universe, just a couple of weeks away, the director raised the hype for the event with a brand new poster with art by Jim Lee. The poster sports The Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and Batman. In the center of the characters is the face of Darkseid, ominous as ever. The bottom of the poster sees a JL logo, along with the title Zack Snyder's Justice League. Before SnyderCon hits Pasadena in just about 2 weeks, former DCU director Zack Snyder shared on Twitter a poster for the event, drawn by Jim Lee, featuring his Justice League roster in all its glory. The SnyderCon event ultimately is unlikely to host major announcements of future developments for what is confirmed to be a defunct cinematic universe. However, if the art in the poster is anything to go by, the event will not be given the short end of any stick because of it. Above the black and white drawn characters are various symbols, and the word Equitas, a Latin word fittingly speaking to justice and equity. Sales of t-shirts with the poster design, according to Snyder's tweet, will be going toward the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Just because there is not more to come does not mean love and care will not be given to the event, and to the fans attending and supporting the films it inspired. Beyond that, the event is supporting an important cause in the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, an act anyone, regardless of their feelings toward the movies the convention is focusing on, could get behind. SnyderCon will take place in Pasadena, California from April 28th to 30th. The DC Studios CEO just clarified his past comments about Zack Snyder. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share and subscribe for more. Ever since Gunn took over DC Studios, Snyderverse fans have been more vocal than ever against the filmmaker. It even led to a select sect starting trends to get him fired twice, once shortly after his hiring and again after the 10-project slate announcement. The Snyderverse fans have made particular efforts in a movement to sell the Snyderverse to Netflix, to continue the franchise at Max's rival streamer where the director is currently developing multiple projects. DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn responded to a Zack Snyder fan, clarifying his past comments about the director's potential superhero future. I have to say, this has got to be the wackiest hashtag ever since 1. Netflix hasn't expressed any such interest, although we've discussed other stuff, and 2. Zack hasn't expressed any interest and seems to be happy doing what he's doing, and yes, we too have talked. Gunn added how Snyder contacted him to express his support about the DCU reboot slate, adding how the filmmaker appeared to be really happy with the work he is now doing building the Rebel Moon universe at Netflix. Back in February, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn offered an update on director Zack Snyder's potential superhero future, and now, the filmmaker has been pushed to clarify his comments after they were seemingly contradicted. Earlier in the year, Gunn responded to a Twitter user sharing the viral "Sell the Snyderverse to Netflix" hashtag. Not only did he confirm the streamer hasn't shown interest in such an acquisition, but he also revealed Snyder hasn't expressed any interest either during a Q&A portion of April's Full Circle event via Geekosity. Snyder was asked whether he would be interested in continuing his DC saga into the planned and abandoned Justice League sequels, to which he noted he would in whatever medium or whatever way that would be able to happen. I love the world, and obviously I've not put a small amount of effort into this mythology, and we have done not also a small amount of work towards the eventualities of these scenarios might be. And so, yes, would I be interested in whatever medium or whatever way these ideas would be made? Of course I would. Yeah, and in the meantime we forge ahead and we do what we do. He contacted me to express his support about my choices. He's a great guy. Again, he seems really happy with the massive world building he's doing now. The topic has been a dicey one among Snyderverse fans ever since, given the divisive DC filmmaker has, in fact, revealed during public Q&As and interviews that he would be willing to return to finish his Justice League epic. "I would think it was obvious that I meant Zack hadn't expressed any interest to me in our discussions, so you can quit spamming this on every single post." Responding to a Threads post from Gunn, user Shay Lonsdale highlighted the DCU boss' previous words stating Snyder hasn't expressed any interest, alongside a clip from the Full Circle charity event. Replying to the Q&A clip, the DC Studios co-CEO clarified his comments, noting how he meant Zack hadn't expressed any interest to him in returning to the superhero franchise. DC Studios is now diving headfirst into the new soft rebooted DCU with only a select few Elseworlds projects set to continue alongside it. Meanwhile, Snyder's focus continues to be over at Netflix, where he is focused on expanding his sci-fi Rebel Moon and post-apocalyptic Army of the Dead universes. Looking at the budgets for Snyder's 3 DCU movies, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Justice League, the costs ranged from $225 to $300 million. So, finishing out this story in its originally intended form would be no cheap endeavor, never mind the difficulties involved in bringing back the cast. While Zack Snyder once had major plans at DC that included 2 Justice League sequels, the plot details of which are definitely something, those plans now appear to be in the rearview mirror for both the director and the Blue brand, with the Snyderverse tale seemingly crushed in favor of a reboot. If the filmmaker were to ever come back, it would likely have to be through a DCU project, although that may not even be something he would be interested in. But since he reached out to Gunn to express his support of the new DCU slate, Snyder clearly remains as big a DC fan as ever, while also seemingly holding on to a solid relationship with the studio and its filmmaking boss. Granted, the chances of Snyder reuniting with Warner Brothers to develop his Justice League sequels are close to zero, despite the online movement. Perhaps the only likely possibility for seeing the story conclude would be through a comic storyline or maybe an animated project from Snyder. As of now, it certainly appears Snyder is content and busy with the work he is doing, building out multiple of his own franchises at Netflix. Director Zack Snyder acknowledged fans demanding Netflix to continue his Justice League story arc. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share and subscribe for more. It'd be an enormous understatement to say that Snyder fans are only enthusiastic admirers. They have been responsible for countless Twitter trends over the years, demanding Snyder be reinstated and allowing him to finish his Justice League story. However, even before Discovery merged with Warner Brothers, WB, executives attempted to make it clear to fans that there were no plan for additional work on that material. It even seemed like Snyder has made peace with that fact and is happy to be working at Netflix on Rebel Moon. After years of following Zack Snyder, fans are demanding his DC vision be realized on Netflix, something Snyder has even reacted to. Some of the more passionate Zack Snyder fans demanded that Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD, sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix, a campaign Snyder himself reacted to. These fans have finally accepted that WB will never return to Snyder's corner of the DC universe. However,